Hello, my name is Lilian Okibe. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to properly moisturize locks. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then please keep on watching. So when it comes to moisturizing hair in general, I feel like it's best for you to think of your hair as sticks of spaghetti. I know that may sound like weird, but hear me out, right? You know, when you get your spaghetti straight out of the pack, it is hard, it is brittle, it can easily break and all of that. But as soon as you cook your spaghetti, it is like soft, it's softer, it's flexible. If you know how to cook spaghetti, get it properly. If you're not one of those people that cook your spaghetti to the point where it becomes like soggy and too soft, if you cook it properly, it becomes soft and flexible. You can bend it, you can move it, and even after you have finish cooking your spaghetti, when you drain your spaghetti, if you're cooking it like plain with just salt without any sauce, when you bring it out of your pot or whatever, once you drain out all the water, even after the surface of the spaghetti dries, right, you see that the spaghetti still maintains some of the properties that it had when it was being cooked. That's kind of like how our hair is, right? When it comes to moisturizing hair, whether you have locks or loose natural hair, you know, when your hair is like wet, like when it has soaked in a lot of water, it is soft, it is more shiny, it is malleable, it does not break easily, like it moves, it's bouncy and all of those things, right? When it comes to moisturizing hair, what you're trying to achieve with moisturizing hair is that you're trying to keep those properties of softness, the sheen, the shine, the manageability and all those things that your hair normally assumes when it is wet. You're trying to keep those properties in your hair for as long as possible. That's basically what it is when it comes to moisturizing hair. And just like spaghetti, you cannot get spaghetti to be moisturized. Permit me to use that word. You can't get your spaghetti moisturized without water. You cannot just take your oil and put your spaghetti into it and cook it. Like, it's not going to be soft. You need water. Whether the water is coming from like plain water or whether it's coming from like your stock, like when you boil your meat and all those things, or whether it's coming from like your sauce that you have already pre-made and all those things, you need water for your spaghetti to be soft and flexible and malleable. Same thing with the hair. You need water for your hair to be soft and flexible and manageable and malleable and all those things, right? Moisturizing is basically allowing your hair to drink in water, right? And then keeping that water in your hair, like inside the strands of the hair, for as long as possible without actually leaving the surface of the hair wet. Let me come again. When it comes to moisturizing your hair, if you understand this, like moisturizing your hair is going to become so much easier, and you're going to know what to do to your hair whenever, no matter where you are, no matter the weather condition, you're going to know how to tackle dryness, right? So moisturizing your hair is basically allowing your hair to drink in water and then keeping that water inside the strands of the hair. Inside the strand, think of all your strands of hair as one stick of spaghetti, right? Moisturizing your hair is basically allowing all those singular strands of hair to drink in enough water, right? And then keeping that water inside the strands of your hair for as long as possible without actually leaving the surface of your hair wet, right? And how can we keep the water in the hair for as long as possible? That's where your products come in, that's where your oils come in, that's where your butters come in and all those things. So oils, products, butters, all those things do not necessarily moisturize the hair, but they actually help to keep the hair moisturized for as long as possible. Just like when you cook your spaghetti, if you cook your spaghetti plain with just salt and water, right, and then you leave the spaghetti laying on your counter, that is going to become dry and brittle a lot faster than if you cook the spaghetti with your sauce, because now you now have oils and all those things that is going to keep the water in the spaghetti longer than if you cooked it plain. It's something also similar. And that's why sometimes you find people who say that they don't use products in their locks, they don't use oils, they don't use butter, they don't use anything. All they use for their locks is water. And you look at their hair is still fine. Your hair can still be fine. Because if you use absolutely nothing, number one, your scalp produces oils, right? So even if you're not actually putting any external oils on your hair, if you're someone who produces a lot of oils from your scalp, all that oils will get like transferred to the length of the hair as days go by, basically, right? So that's one. Another thing is, if you're not going to be putting oils and all those things in your hair, doesn't mean that your hair is not going to be getting moisturized. It's just going to mean that your hair is going to be drying out faster than someone who uses products. I hope that makes sense. That's one role that products play. Another role that products play is that they help the hair to feel like smoother. They help to like improve the lubrication of the hair. So apart from keeping the hair moisturized for it, like, let's go back to the spaghetti, right? When you're eating your plain spaghetti, if you eat raw spaghetti without sauce, you see that when you take this, I don't know how, if you usually break your spaghetti when you cook it, then you're not going to be getting the full juice and benefits of spaghetti. So for those people who know how to cook spaghetti like Italians, you know that you do not break your spaghetti. So you cook it whole, right? If you're eating your plain spaghetti, without any sauce, if you try to, suck it into your mouth like that, it's not going to be as seamless and as easy as if you're eating your spaghetti with sauce. You see? So oils and products in general help to improve the lubrication of the hair. And that's why when you use products in your hair, when you glide your hand, on the surface of your locks, it glides better, right? Another thing is, oils also improve the shine of the hair, right? Not necessarily only like oils, products, because most of your products contain oils as well, oils and butters and all those things. All those things improve the shine of the hair. So those things are not necessarily moisturizing the hair per se. They are just like increasing how long your hair stays moisturized and adding properties like shine and making your hair like feel like smoother and softer and all those things. So can you moisturize your hair without products? Absolutely, because as long as your hair is drinking in water, it's going to be fine. Now that we understand all those things, let me go ahead and share some tips that will help you to keep your hair moisturized for a long time, or like to keep your locks moisturized generally without feeling dry and brittle and all those things. Now, the first thing is for you to use warm water to your advantage. Now, when there is heat, like I've said before on my channel, heat kind of like acts as a catalyst. So what that means is heat speeds up things. If something is going to happen for like, let's say something is supposed to happen for like 20 minutes, if you add heat to it, it's probably speed up the whole process to like maybe 10 or 5 minutes. So let's go back to the spaghetti. If you put your spaghetti in water, in just like room temperature water, eventually the spaghetti will soak in enough water to a point where it's going to become soft, right? But it's going to take a lot longer than if you like put your spaghetti on a stove and cook it, or if you put your spaghetti in like boiling hot water. Now, I'm not saying that you should go ahead and use boiling hot water on your hair. Obviously, that's going to damage your hair. But what I'm trying to say is, when you should, knowing this, that heat actually speeds up whatever is happening, you know that when there is heat involved, your hair is going to be absorbing the moisture a lot quicker. So when I say you should use heat to your advantage, I mean that from time to time, if you notice that your hair is not actually getting moisture as much as you want, you can try increasing the temperature of the water you normally use. So let's say you normally use cold water or room temperature water. If you notice that it seems like you're putting water in your hair, but your hair is still getting drier and drier, you may want to like increase the temperature of your hair. So you switch to like using warm water or something like that. Now, I should say that when it comes to moisturizing your hair, you don't want to be using the kind of water that you're going to be using to detox your hair. In one of my videos, I talked about how to properly detox locks, right? And I told you about the temperature of water you should use for that. You should not be using that temperature of water. I will link that video up in the iCards. But you should not be using that temperature of water to moisturize. So when it comes to moisturizing your hair, you should be using more like lukewarm water, or like warm water. Warm, it should not be hot in any way. Like the water should be warm enough that you can lie down inside the water and sleep, and you're not going to feel any form of discomfort, right? Now, another thing that heat can do is, sometimes if, let's say, you have gotten to a point where you have products in your hair, oils or whatever products in your hair, to a point, because normally you know that oil and water does not mix. So if you have oils already on your hair to a level, it's going to reduce how much your hair absorbs moisture, right? So by using warm water instead of like room temperature water or cold water, it can actually help to shift the oils, like make the oils on your hair a little bit more flowy in such a way that it can give room for your hair to absorb some of the water from some of the moisture from the water. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's another advantage of using. You should use warm water to your advantage. If you notice that you're moisturizing your hair, you're using water, but it seems like your hair is getting drier. Now, another thing I want to say is when it comes to moisturizing your hair, if you're using water and products, water and oils and all those things, it's going to get to a point where your hair becomes, because the water evaporates quicker than oils. We should know that already. Water evaporates quicker than oils and butters and all the likes. So if you are constantly, allowing your hair to drink water and you apply a little bit of products, a little bit of oils and all those things, eventually, as maybe some days later, you notice that your hair is going to start to feel a little bit more oily than it should be. When your hair is oily, or when your hair is greasy, or even if it's not like super greasy, but like when you have a certain amount of oils on your hair is not going to be able to absorb moisture well. So what you should do is go back to reset, wash all those oils out to give your hair room to drink in water, and then start the process all over again. Now, another tip that I find that helps me with my moisturizing my locks is after you have washed your hair, don't just go ahead and dry it with a towel immediately. I know that this is not something that everybody can do, but this is something that has really worked for me. When you leave your hair wet, like when you come out, you can shake your hair and like squeeze it, but when you still have some water in your hair, it gives your hair some more time to drink in more water. I noticed that when your hair drinks in a lot of water on wash day, it's going to help you stay moisturized longer than if like your wash day is just like, if your hair just drinks water for like maybe 5 minutes or so on wash day, like it's not going to stay moisturized for as long. So the longer you leave your hair, you give your hair room to drink in water, the longer your hair is going to stay moisturized, aka soft, shiny, lubricated and all those things afterwards. So what I like to do is, after I have washed my hair, I have rinsed and everything like that, I do not dry my hair with a towel. I just squeeze my hair, come out, apply my products. Another thing is, when you do it this way, you find that you're not going to need to apply too much product to a point where your hair is going to feel oily or greasy. So because your hair is wet, you're not going to need to apply so much product, which is a good thing to help to prevent build-up. But another thing is, when your hair is wet, if you don't go ahead and dry it with a towel, it's going to give your hair some time to drink in as much water as it wants to drink. So peradventure there are a few strands locked up somewhere in the locks that have not really gotten in the water, right, or the moisture. By the time you leave your hair wet for some time, it's going to give you time to drink water. So what I like to do, I feel like this is something that has really helped me, and for other people's locks that I've maintained as well, you start out by drying your locks slowly. So you get out of the shower, don't squeeze with a towel. You can squeeze the water to get out the excess water, but just allow some of the water to the excess water to just drain on its own, right? For me, in about 10 to 20 minutes, the water dripping down my body, my neck would have stopped, right? So start by drying your locks slowly to give your hair time to drink in as much water as it wants to drink before you go ahead and dry fast. So for me, that means I come out, I leave my hair to be soaking wet, allow the excess water to drain down, for like a few minutes, maybe like 20 minutes or so. And then by that time, I don't have water dripping down my neck and all over, so I can go ahead and go about my day. Or if I want, I can go ahead and blast my hair with like a fan for a few minutes and then go about my day, go outside and what have you. I find that this actually helps my hair to stay moisturized longer. So you can give that a try. Start out by drying your locks slowly, then go ahead and dry fast. Another thing that can actually help is going outside. I know that this may sound like counterproductive, but I find that whenever I dry my locks slowly and then go outside for the atmosphere, the sun or like the wind outside to complete the work for me, or let's say maybe I dry my locks slowly and then I complete it with a fan, and then maybe like the next day I go outside, my hair actually feels more moisturized, softer, and like it just looks nicer and it feels nicer. I don't know the science behind that. I think it's still related to the fact that drying slowly and then drying fast just helps. I don't know. But I noticed that when it comes to moisturizing your hair, when you allow your hair to receive some sun, not too much sun to a point where it sucks out all the moisture from the hair, but just enough, like maybe 10 to 15 minutes of sun every few days or so, it's actually beneficial to the hair. It actually helps your hair to feel nicer and to feel more moisturized. I don't know the science behind this. I'm going to have to do my research on this, but this is something that I have noticed, so you can give that a try as well. Now, when it comes to dryness, whenever your hair feels dry, you need to figure out why your hair feels dry. Let's say it's winter. If you're constantly moisturizing your hair, it seems like you're putting in water, sealing in all that moisture with like your products, but it seems like your hair is still being dry. Instead of going ahead to add more and more and more and more water, you find that what you need is actually just some steam. So instead of going ahead to water, you feel like I'm using all this water, but my hair is not getting moisturized, try, using steam to your advantage. If you have a steamer, it's very, very nice. You can use a steamer to like steam your hair. Or you can use your shower, to get some steam and just like go ahead and steam your hair. You find that that's going to be very beneficial, because what that steam does is it's the water that is in your hair that is probably a little bit frozen, and that's why your hair is stiff and like dry. That's why the fact that you're moisturizing it, the steam is going to help to revive that water, make it more flowy, and just make your hair feel more moisturized. Now, if you're somewhere where like it's very, very dry, like it's not like winter, but like it's very sunny, you spend a lot of time outside under the sun, and it seems like no matter what you do, your hair is always dry. Obviously, for someone like that, the sun is evaporating all the water from your hair. So what you can do is you increase how often you allow your hair to drink in water. Now, whenever I go outside and the weather is sunny and I spend a lot of time in the sun, I like to come back and just soak my hair. Like, just whenever I have my bath, I shower and allow the water to run down my hair. So for someone like that, you're going to know that you're going to need to increase how often you wet your hair, right? Also, if you're someone who doesn't use products, obviously the products are not there to keep your hair feeling moisturized longer. So you're going to need to be wetting your hair more frequently than someone that uses products, right? If you're someone who, okay, it's not like sunny, but it's very, very windy where you live, obviously that wind means the water is also evaporating from your head, despite the fact that the evaporation is not as a result of the heat of the sun, but the wind can also like get water out of your hair. So for someone like that, you know that you need to increase how often you're wetting your hair in order to get the benefits. Now, like I said, if you're someone who you notice that I've been moisturizing my hair back to back to back, I've been wetting my hair back to back to back, but my hair, yes, even though it moves, it's not like stiff or anything, but the surface of the hair, it feels kind of crunchy, and so I feel like it's dry despite the fact that I'm wetting my hair. One thing, you can look into the kind of water you're using. If you're using hard water, it's not going to be moisturizing your hair, it's going to be making your hair feel stiff and all those things. But another thing is, sometimes if you're constantly wetting your hair, the surface of your hair may feel crunchy because there is no lubricant on the surface of your hair. So for someone like that, instead of going ahead to re-wet your hair and to feel like, oh, I wet my hair this morning, now it's dry again, let me go ahead and re-wet my hair. For someone like that, what you may need is just maybe an oil or a light or a butter, a little quantity of an oil or a butter or whatever product you like to use, just to help to, improve the lubrication on the surface of your locks. And you see that your locks are going to start to feel like nice and soft and juicy. So if you understand the concept of moisturizing your hair, it's going to help you figure out what the problem is whenever your hair feels like it is dry. I hope you guys find these tips helpful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. And if this is your first time on my channel and you'd like to see more videos from me, then definitely subscribe. If you also like to learn how I started and how I retwist my locks for thickness, I have all those things available in my online course. I'll put the link down in the description box, and if you click my name and go to my homepage, you find the link over there as well. If you like to see the products that I use, I have all of them available on my website. If you click my name and go to my homepage, you find the link over there, and the link will also be in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next video.